Oh god. I don't think I've done this intro before. Hey everybody. Welcome to another review of a movie. This movie is going to be Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. I already did a non-spoiler review, so if you don't want spoilers of Godzilla x Kong, click off this video and go to my non-spoiler review, or don't watch my videos because they're terrible. I try my best, I promise. So I'm just going to get my verdict out of the way in case people just leave right now. It was great. It honestly caught me by surprise. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really stupid and more about the humans like usual. But it actually had a lot more kaiju action than the other movies. I think it had a lot more than Godzilla vs. Kong and stuff like that. It also had a lot of CGI. And this is a spoiler review, so I'll just talk freely about it. I won't talk about everything. But it's basically just my last review, but I'll talk more freely about it and I'll get some spoilers in here. So I also saw this movie in IMAX, so I saw Kong's cheeks and stuff like that in a beautiful big screen. And I will say the visuals in this movie are fantastic. The visuals in all of these movies are pretty fantastic, like the sound effects in Godzilla 2014. Top tier. Hold on, let me... but yeah, the visuals are fantastic, and I give it a 8.5 out of 10 in terms of how I enjoyed it, basically a 9 out of 10. Critically, I don't think it is as good, but it was so fun that most of my complaints were foreshadowed. Complaints, sorry, I say complaints. Complaints were foreshadowed. The only complaints I really have right now is, again, the humans. Even though there was a lot less human scenes, they seem so much more annoying than the past movies. The humans are way more annoying than they were before. The last movie, I thought the humans were just useless, like they did nothing in the movie. They weren't really annoying, it's just like, they didn't really do anything. It's same with the past movies, it's just like you don't care for the humans, like who gives crap about the freaking humans? Nobody cares anymore, and they reuse quite a lot of characters from the last movie, but I don't remember seeing any of the King of the Monsters, cast like they did in the last movie, which is good because that was fucking useless. They didn't even need them in the past movie, but they do have that guy, I forgot his freaking name, but he is the most annoying character in this movie. He, records, everything, and he says that he's gonna post it and stuff like that, and there's this, Ace Ventura guy, that's one of the jokes, it was funny. That's the only funny joke in this movie, by the way, is when a really freaking jerk, soldier guy calls, I think he's, a doctor or something, like a kaiju doctor. He calls him, Ace Ventura-looking person, and I was like, that made me laugh. That's the only good joke in this, But he, tells him, maybe you shouldn't post that, and stuff like that, and then the guy's just like, I think there's something seriously wrong with you. I'm like, okay. They also think we're, lobotomites, I guess. They also think we're lobotomites, I guess, because they keep saying what they're about to do to the audience, like we're dummies that don't understand anything. It is really stupid, I believe there's a scene when Kong is hurt, he's hurt with a baby character I'll mention later on named Zuko, is hurt and stuff like that, and I forgot what happens, but I think Zuko does something. Zuko, runs away or something like that, and then the humans are just like, they're going to get help. What did you expect? What else is Zuko going to be doing? Just running away? What are you talking about? There was one good joke, but it wasn't even from a big character. I meant to say that, sorry. Also, another thing, the kaiju scenes, there is a lot of them, and I found them really fun and entertaining. They were really good. There was this really, really clever sequence that lasted, I would say, the first hour, throughout the first hour, where it was no dialogue, and it was just, Kong interacting with other environments and the kaijus. There's this one part, I forgot what it's called, it's, he goes into a different, dimension in the Hollow Earth, and they did such a good job of him, looking around and stuff and being like, this is new, and stuff like that, and his expressions are much more apparent in this movie. In the beginning, he, runs away from a bunch of, dog-looking creatures, and you can tell he's, scared and stuff, and he sets up, a bunch of traps and stuff, and then he's, about to, rip one of the dogs in half, which he does. The expressions are just so good, and you can just tell that he's, really lonely after that, because he kind of gets sad, and he starts to hear, another animal that sounds like a monkey, but it was just, a frog that made a similar noise, and you could tell he was lonely, because he got super sad and stuff like that, and they did such a good job with that. That was my favorite part of the movie. and I would love to see more of that, and I hope they do more of that eventually, because it was a really clever sequence, and it was done so well, surprisingly. And when I heard stuff about that, I thought I was going to hate it, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was the best part of the movie. And then the character I mentioned earlier, named Suko, I originally thought would have been a character that I didn't think I was going to like. I thought I wasn't going to like that character. Usually I hate when they bring small baby cute characters into, franchises, because, it reminds me of stuff like Gremlins, and it all came from that, and it's just so overdone and generic now. But here it actually works. Like, the relationship he builds with Kong and stuff actually felt natural and good, and I was surprised by that. There's a scene where, like when Kong first meets Zuko, like, he tries to be friends with him, and he kind of tries to go closer to her, to him, and then attacks Kong, and then Kong, like, does his freaking slaps his body to the other apes, because there's, like, 3 other apes with Zuko, trying to attack Kong, and he uses Zuko to just freaking smack the other Kongs, whatever, freaking apes, whatever, and it's hilarious. And then later on, he defeats all the other apes, and you can tell that Zuko is, like, scared of him and stuff like that, and tries to lead him in there. That tries to trick Kong into the water, because there's something in the water, blah blah blah, kills the thing that was in the water, it's like some dragon thing that floats. Then he goes to Zuko, and they eat and stuff like that. This is the scene I was talking about, where I felt it was, like, really natural and well done. But Kong starts eating the thing, and Zuko is so scared to take the food from Kong's hands, so Kong just throws it, and then Zuko eats it, and then he sees that Kong is, like, actually sad and then Zuko finally realizes that he's not a bad guy, and then goes up to him and eats with him, and it's such a good scene. It works so well, and I was surprised by that. Even though it's stupid, so has been all the other Godzilla movies. As you can see, I'm a Godzilla fan. Sorry to say that this isn't really a Godzilla movie. Godzilla is more of a cameo in this movie. He's barely in it. I would assume he's in this for like 4 minutes or something like that. Every villain that Godzilla came across, he destroyed them in like 30 seconds, and I wasn't really a fan of that, even though I know they're trying to make Godzilla the big kaiju, the one that destroys everything. But I just felt like all of them were throwaway villains and stuff like that, and I just wish there was more fights with Godzilla, because it was just the Kong fights, though. The Kong fights were really good. They were really lengthy and really good, and I really liked them, but Godzilla's fights, they were just like, the freaking villain got like one bite on Godzilla, but Godzilla just freaking blasts them, like, right away, and stuff like that. It's so fast and stuff like that, and I wasn't really a fan of that, but I do get why, and it's fine. It's more of a nitpick, really. I would say, though, at least 40 or 50% of this movie is fights, and that is all we wanted from the first movie and just all the other movies in general. And they're really good fights. I think the final fight is the best one. All of them are really good. The final fight is with Scar King, Shimu, and Godzilla, and Kong, and Zuko. I will get to, like, Shimu and Scar King and stuff like that a little bit later. Actually, I'm just going to talk about Scar King right now, I would say. You know what, no, I'll talk about the CGI. So, apparently the CGI in this movie is the cheapest out of all of them, and this one seems to have more CGI, like, significantly more than the others, and somehow it's cheaper than the other ones. I don't really get that, but apparently it is. I will say the villain in this movie, Scar King, no, Shimo is not a villain in this, really. It's more of, like, a side villain, I guess, but not really a villain, because it's actually a good person. A good guy. I think it's a she. I don't know. It's a good guy, though, not a villain. But Scar King is a little underwhelming and not really generic, but, like, he was fine, but he was more, like, non-threatening. Like, he was so weak. His introduction, though, how they introduced him was so freaking good. So there's, like, this tribe, I don't know how to say their name, with the humans, with that little girl that was deaf in the first Godzilla vs. Kong. She's back in this, but they, like, try to translate the backstory, which the mom does it, the mom of the little girl. She tries to translate it, and she does, and they talk about, like, Scar King and stuff like that, and Shimu, and the fight, and the end of the world, and stuff like that. And then they do this epic scene where Kong, like, like Kong like sees another ape getting bullied by another ape. He like helps the ape up, and then the ape like goes up to Kong, the one that like bullied the other ape. He went up to him and goes, and starts screaming in his face, and then Kong just freaking punches him in the face or something like that. I forgot exactly what he does, but he just punches him in the face. And then another ape like warns Scar King and stuff like that, and it's so cool because they do it in like this really dark setting, and he's like sitting on his throne like this, in the trailer. And then he just does this growl, and you just see his eyes light up and stuff, and he kind of like walks slowly. And the music is so good, by the way. The soundtrack in this movie is fantastic. But the theme for Scar King is badass. It's so cool. He just has such a good introduction, and then he comes up, and then he roars, and then he comes down. And this is the only part he seems threatening in. He sees Zuko, and he gets mad at Zuko because I guess he brought Kong in here, into the, the army, whatever. Tries to I guess kill Zuko or something, or tries to attack Zuko, but one of the other apes were like, no, you can't hurt him, it's a baby. I don't know if it's a baby, I think it's a little ape. And then you think Scar King is basically done. He just kind of walks away and then does this like smile, it looks goofy, and then kicks the big ape into the lava. And that's when Kong gets mad at Scar King, and then Scar King and him fight, and it's a really good fight. Like Scar King hurts Kong a little bit, and then he like chokes him or something, and then freaking Kong wrecks Scar King, almost kills Scar King, and then he just laughs and then has this whip thing, and then he uses it to call in Shimu, the random dragon, the How to Train Your Dragon's Shimu character. He calls she and calls her or he, and I think it's a her. I can never freaking know, but I think it's a her. He calls her in, and it has a great introduction for him too, because he has for her too, because she has like a really good introduction and a really great theme as well. Scar King and Shimu have such a good theme. Their themes are so freaking good, and she has a pretty good introduction. Like the lava, you see like come down, and you see it kind of stop, and then you see Shimu's eyes come up, and then she like has this like. She looks huge there. She looks like huge when they first introduce her, and then she looks a little smaller later on. But she is significantly bigger than Godzilla and Kong. But she's just on all fours, so she looks a little smaller, but she's actually bigger than all of them. But yeah, she blasts Kong with her frost breath, because freaking Shimu has like not Shimu, Scar King has like her shard, I guess, and like kind of like hurts her every time he uses it, and kind of controls Shimu basically. So basically Shimu isn't really the real villain. It's more of like she's a pet of Scar King, even though she doesn't want to be, because basically Scar King just has her locked down, like she can't do anything. But that's the only reason Scar King is really threatening in this movie, is because he has, I keep mixing up. He has Shimu. That is why he keeps freaking threatening. I can't speak today. That's basically the only reason Scar King seems threatening, is because he has Shimu with him, but still isn't really that threatening, especially later on. He doesn't seem that threatening. And then they also bring another original kaiju. If you don't want to know it, I am just going to say it right now, so just get off the video. They bring in an old original kaiju that is from the last movie, Godzilla, not Godzilla vs. Kong, the second freaking Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's from Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's Mothra, and I loved this kaiju. I loved Mothra in this movie. I think Mothra was great, even though she had like 3 minutes of screen time, and I wish there was more of her, but that was more of like, that's more of a selfish thought, really. Like, I just wanted more of her, but she gets a pretty decent screen time. She does a lot in the movie. And then the final fight, I really liked a lot. Like, there's even a scene where, like, I think Scar King and Shimu go up first, because they have to jump through, like, hollow earth to fight each other, I guess. I don't know why. But they do that, and then, Scar King, like, tries to use Shimu to destroy, the city that they go into. I forgot which city it was. But they use that to, like, destroy the city, and, Scar King, like, keeps doing it. He's like, oh, do it, and then Kong just comes out of nowhere and just punches him right in the face, and you see his teeth come out. And then, I think, in the first fight with Scar King and Kong, Scar King like laughs at Kong because he got his teeth missing. He has like a steel teeth or something like that. Laughs at him, and then because I forgot what happened. I think his like teeth rots out in the beginning or something like that. Not his teeth, his tooth. But yeah, Scar King like is like in that freaking. Then so Kong laughs when he punches Scar King's teeth out, and it's hilarious. It's so great. The expressions on both of these characters, on basically all the characters besides Godzilla, obviously, I think they have really great expressions compared to the last movies. Their expressions are much more expressive in this movie. Besides Shimu and Godzilla. The final fight scene, there's even a scene where like Scar King like uses the whip to like grab like a city or something, like not a city, a building or something, and then he like waves it around. It's in the trailer, and then Kong freaking punches it. That is such a great visual. The visuals in this movie are so cool, and I do think Scar King's weapon is cool. It's just that the villain is so underwhelming. Proof his thing, he has the freaking Shimu spike thing. Eventually it like comes off or something like that. I forgot how, but it somehow comes off, and then Zuko like tries to get to it, and then Scar King freaking strangles him because I think Zuko ends up breaking it with Kong's axe in the Godzilla vs. Kong. If you never watched it, I think he ends up breaking it, and Scar King just strangles him, and then I forgot what happens. I think it's something. I forgot who does it. I think it's Kong like freaking punches him or something. I forgot. But eventually he gets frozen up by Shimu because Shimu is out of his grips because they broke the spike. Shimu freezes him. I forgot what Godzilla does. I think Godzilla just blasts him a little bit. I don't remember. I know Shimu freezes him, and then Kong like does this freaking epic thing, and then smashes him to the ground, and then smashes him with his fist, and he's dead. He's dead for sure. I think that's the third kill. There's a lot of kills actually in this movie because a lot of characters fall off like stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically how Scar King dies. And I forgot to talk about the Egypt scene with Godzilla and Kong. This is the only time Godzilla and Kong fight. So Godzilla gets wrecked by Kong in this fight. Like Godzilla like gets punched a lot in this, and basically almost gets knocked out. Eventually, Godzilla got the atomic breath because he was in this evolved form, and while he's doing the atomic breath, it's hilarious. It like cuts away, and then you just see like Kong like going like like jogging, and it looks hilarious because it looks like just a regular person jogging, and he's like going behind the pyramid. It's hilarious. But yeah. Godzilla ends up almost killing Kong, gets him on the ground like in Godzilla vs. Kong again.
Oh, boo! Scary jump scare. You guys might be wondering why this is a different camera, crappier audio quality, and why I am in different clothes and not wearing a hat anymore, and why is it daytime now? Well, the answer is simple. My camera didn't record everything I was saying, so it skipped like 5 minutes of what I was trying to say about that one scene, and I'm just going to kind of break it down into small pieces for you because I don't really feel like repeating myself. So basically, I said that Godzilla stomped him down into the ground like in Godzilla vs. Kong, like he did in Godzilla vs. Kong, like I said. He does that same thing, but instead Mothra goes, and then saves Kong, and Mothra goes like, you gotta go save Hollow Earth, I guess. And they work together, and then they go down there and they fight Scar King and stuff like that, you know. That's what I was trying to say, but until, for some reason, it didn't record all that. But I was talking about the designs of the characters in the second clip, third clip, because it recorded 3 videos for some reason. So basically what I was saying is that I didn't really like Godzilla design that much in this movie. The pink is fine by me because I see that it's going for the Millennium Godzilla or the 2000s Godzilla design. But I don't like how he's skinnier and stuff like that. I was always a fan of the fat Godzilla and stuff like that. I don't like skinny Godzilla usually. Then I was gonna go to Kong, and I said Kong is this is probably his best design ever in any movie because it's basically just like the original, or it's like more humanoid ape basically, and more realistic and stuff like that than the original and stuff like that. And I think it's cooler than the original design. The Peter Jackson one is just a normal gorilla, so I think I like this one the best. Then going to, I don't know if I mentioned Mothra's design in the video, but if I do, just skip it, I guess. But Mothra's design I did really like. I like how her colors were more like the original. She's like really golden in this one instead of blue. I like her design more than King of the Monsters. I think her design in this is really great. Then where it cut off with Scar King, I thought was a really weird design. He's like bald and lengthy and kind of slim, but tall. Like his face is very long and stuff like that, and it's just a really weird design. I wasn't really a fan of it. Then going to Shimu, I don't like her design, or she or he. I don't know. I don't know if it's a he or she still. But I don't like her design that much either. I'm just gonna go with her, because it looks like her. I don't really like her design. It looks like a How to Train Your Dragon's character. It looks weird. It doesn't really fit with all the other characters. So that's basically all I was gonna say. Another thing I forgot to mention was the ending of the movie. So the ending of the movie ends up just with the human characters, and then the tribe girl, I forgot her name, goes to the mom and says, "No, you are my home," and it's supposed to be sweet and stuff like that, but we don't freaking care. And then it goes to Kong riding Shimu, because Shimu's a good guy now at the end of the movie. Rides Shimu with Suko. I think Suko follows them or something like that, and goes to the kingdom that Scar King used to work for again, or used to lead, whatever. And I guess he's the leader now, or he's just setting him free or something. But he's telling him I killed Scar King basically, and that's basically how the movie ends, I believe. There is no post-credit scene or anything like that. But yeah, back to the clip that randomly just cut off. I'm gonna show you guys the last part of this video.
He's really lengthy, and he's orange, is really bald, and has the red makeup and stuff like that. He's like a orangutan basically, but skinny. And obviously Kong, we all know him. He's such a great design. I don't know if you can see that, but that's him, and then that's Godzilla. I also have it in my popcorn bucket too, if you want to see that. There's Kong right there, and Godzilla. I don't have a better way to show you the characters. I don't have any figures or anything like that. I don't think there is figures of, these characters besides the Playmates ones. Anyway, I think that's basically all I have to say for Godzilla x Kong. I thought it was a pretty decent movie. If you liked Godzilla vs. Kong, I honestly think you'll like this a lot more. But I'm a fan of CGI and practical effects. I like the MonsterVerse a little bit. But if you're more of a practical effects guy when it comes to the MonsterVerse and stuff like that, I don't recommend this movie to you because there's no practical effects in this movie. But if you're a freaking CGI guy, you're fine with CGI, this movie's for you. Okay, that's basically all I have to say for this review for Godzilla x Kong. I thought it was great. I gave it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. See you guys later.